Without these key factors, you may be down in the dump and out of luck when looking for your first rental property.
This video is going to focus on the key factors that you should look into prior to buying your first rental property.
Location is the first key factor that we look at when looking into buying a real estate property.
You want to know if the location is a Class A, B, or C neighborhood. You want to look into the school district and see what people's thoughts are on that. You want to look into the crime rate. There's several different sites that you can use for crime rate. With location, it also will bring in, depending on if it's a Class A, B, or even C, you're going to look at the quality of tenant. Some properties you might be able to get, a 10-15% ROI, but it's a D neighborhood, and there's a chance you get shot or stabbed when trying to go to collect rent. So location is one of the key factors we look into. Look and see if the location is supported by a college, if it's supported by a hospital, is it supported by a main industry, is the population going up in that location. Anything else you can think of?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
All right.
Location and appreciation go hand in hand.
One of the biggest mistakes that new real estate investors make is focusing solely on cash flow. In real estate, a majority of your money is going to be made in the appreciation. Class A and Class B neighborhoods are going to appreciate at a higher level than your lower level neighborhoods that, as I said previously, they might cash flow higher, but they're more dangerous and they're not going to appreciate. So focusing on buying in safer neighborhoods, better schools, will appreciate at a higher rate, which is what's going to make you rich in the long run.
The overall details of the property can help determine what the cost of rent could be.
This, for me, is always where it gets really exciting.
He gets giddy about it, actually.
Over the details, because in the area that we primarily buy in, if you tell me the square footage, if you tell me how many beds, how many baths, how big the yard is, I can tell you what it will rent for. It's actually became a game to me. So this is where it becomes very important to understand the specific details of the property. How many bedrooms is it? How many baths is it? Does it have a garage? Is that garage detached or attached? Again, anything that can increase or decrease the rent value of that property. Does it have a large yard?
A fenced-in yard. This part of the video will really separate the new investors to the more experienced investors.
When we first started investing, we looked at some of the smallest, dumbest things that we were concerned with. We were looking underneath the sink to see how the plumbing was. And
talk about getting super hung up on the little things.
We were looking at dents in the wall we acted like that was a big deal. Mm-hmm. We would look at trim, and maybe a wall needed to be painted, and that would be enough of a deterrent for us not to want to buy stuff. And now that we are nearly 2 years into our real estate career, I can't remember the last time I actually looked under the sink, in the sink. Now we just straight focus on big ticket items. I'm looking to see if there's any foundation that I can see. Obviously, we get an inspection done. During the inspection, our inspector is every bit of 5'4", 135 pounds, soaking wet on a good day, and I'm 6'3", 295. So I don't fit in crawl spaces. So I'll let him do that part.
Yes. You're not going to catch me dead in some of those crawl spaces. So.
And why is? Please tell our audience why that is.
I'm absolutely petrified of spiders. Like big scared of spiders.
So we look at the foundation. Another big one is the roof.
Mm-hmm.
A roof could easily cost anywhere from $8,000 on a small house And then if you, for an $8,000 roof, good luck trying to find a contractor to want to do it because they want to do bigger roofs because they make more money off them, to a bigger roof, which could cost you roughly $20,000.
And that's, just for shingles. Who's to say,
You get into the OSB and anything else that could go wrong with the roof. Then we're looking at the cabinets in the kitchen. That could be a big ticket item. That could be up to like $8,000 to replace all the cabinets.
I think windows remain pretty high on our list, just with the cost of windows this day and age.
Oh, the first house we bought, we had to replace the windows, and it was $12,000 to replace the windows in a 900 square foot house.
So I can't imagine in like a 12 or 1,300 square foot house what it would be. So
when we first started, we were concerned about the hot water heater and all this little petty stuff that just simply doesn't matter. So now we're just focused on the big ticket items. For us, we don't even really consider a furnace, which is between $3,000 to $4,000 in our area, to replace as a big ticket item anymore when we're purchasing a property. It's solely the roof, the windows, the foundations, those cabinets, anything
bathroom guts probably, like if a bathroom needed to be fully gutted.
Yeah, yep. Flooring is not something we concern. You can do a lot of flooring for $2,000-3,000. So it's all these big ticket items are what you really want to focus on prior to making your offer.
Would you say electrical would also be one of the?
Oh yeah, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Electrical.
Check your boxes. Make sure there's no.
You don't want to have any knob and tube.
There you go. What's the word?
You don't want to have any cloth wiring. It could get real expensive. I had a client of mine that was just under contract for a duplex. The downstairs was pretty nice. The upstairs had to be rewired, and the electrician quoted us at $20,000. So focus on your
down
big
payment for another house
ticket items prior to making your offer.
One of the last conversations we have before we consider putting an offer in on a house is those upfront costs.
Upfront costs include any repairs that you're going to have to complete to make the house rent ready. It's what it's going to cost to close on the property. Right now, I was just quoted at 6.625 interest, but we have to pay 4 points. Say we're buying a $100,000 property, 4 points on that. A point is 1% of the purchase price. So 1 point would be $1,000. So it would cost us $4,000, which is just basically prepaid interest that the bank collects right up front during closing. They collect taxes up front. Sometimes when you escrow your taxes in, your lender will want them to hold in escrow a certain amount for that. So that's an upfront cost. And then you have to figure out your 25% of the property. So you have to take a look. Do you have to replace the stove? Do you have to replace the refrigerator? Are you going to furnish the washer, the dryer? So anything that could cost upfront prior to closing, you don't want anything to come up. Say you're planning on your closing cost being $25,000 out the door, and then you go look at the property and you realize, I got to go buy a washer. That's going to be $600-700. I got to go buy a fridge, $700. These are all things you need to factor in when considering writing your deal.
So let's wrap this all up.
Focus on the location and all the other items that we cover in this video.
Try not to sweat the small stuff.
Ignore the negativity and focus on your individual goals.
If you guys have any questions or comments, drop them in the comments below. Please feel free to reach out for any help or support in your real estate journey. Thanks for watching and have a great night.
Seriously, reach out. You guys would be surprised how many people I've spoke to on the phone all over America to help support them in their real estate journey.